Welcome to a special edition of Wisdom Wednesday. Today's journey, entitled Echoes of Intention, the Dance of Prayer and Action, invites us on an immersive exploration into the essence of prayer and how it intertwines with our actions. We are delving into the digital world's influence on our spiritual selves, understanding diverse cultural interpretations of prayer, and reflecting on how our daily choices echo our deepest intentions. Join me in this introspective journey as we unravel the complex relationship between our beliefs, our prayers, and the actions that define our spiritual path. We have all we need within us and at our fingertips, thanks to the internet, to become the best versions of ourselves. We live in a world full of opportunities to learn and grow, but there is another side to it. The same vast space can lead us down paths that bring out our worst. The internet, with all its information, can be a double-edged sword. Every day we make choices that either help us grow or hold us back, influenced by what we find and how we use this powerful tool. Consider this: nothing in life stays static. Every moment, with each decision we make, whether we are fully aware of it or not, we are steering our lives in one direction or another. It is like walking on a path that is constantly branching off. You have probably heard the saying that the road to hell is paved with good intentions. It is a stark reminder that just having good intentions is not enough. This brings us to an important realization. Our belief systems, integrity, and habits are like an internal compass, guiding us almost automatically. But here is the catch. If we are not mindful, if we do not actively engage in self-discipline, we might end up being swept away by the relentless current of digital influences and distractions. It is all about finding that balance, isn't it? About making sure that the choices we make every second, every minute, are truly ours and align with who we aspire to be. Have you ever heard someone confidently say, "I know how to do that," and then wondered if they are actually putting that knowledge into practice? It is one thing to know, it is another thing to act. This brings us to the subject of prayer. Consider this. What really is prayer? Is it just those few quiet minutes in the morning when we say, "Dear God," giving thanks and laying out our wishes, asking for intervention in the lives of our loved ones and for our problems to be resolved? It is quite common to pray for challenges to ease and for those who oppose us to change their ways. But let us pause and think deeper about this. How do we envision prayer working? It is an intriguing question, isn't it? Are these prayers just verbal expressions of our desires? Or do we see them as something more? A catalyst for change, perhaps both in ourselves and in our circumstances. Reflect on that for a moment. Let us explore how different traditions view prayer, each offering a unique perspective. In the Sufi tradition of Islamic mysticism, for instance, prayer is much more than a request to the divine. It is seen as a conversation, a way to transcend the self and connect with the universal consciousness. Imagine a prayer that is not about asking, but about experiencing a deep, loving communion with the divine. This is where music, poetry like that of Rumi, and even dance as seen in the whirling dervishes come into play, all creating an experiential and mystical union. The whirling dervishes are part of a centuries-old mystical tradition in Sufism, known for their unique practice of spinning in dance as a form of remembrance and meditation. This dance, a symbol of spiritual journey, represents a continuous twirling movement in harmony with all of existence, embodying a profound state of spiritual focus and devotion. Then there's the Buddhist approach, where prayer takes on the form of mindfulness and setting intentions. It is less about petitioning a deity and more about aligning thoughts and actions with virtues, such as compassion, loving kindness, and self-control. Consider meditation in this context. It is like a prayer, a journey to understand the mind and reality, fostering a connection with all beings. And in Ifa, as in many indigenous spiritual traditions, prayer is woven into the very fabric of daily life. It is a continuous dialogue with the divine, with ancestors, and with the natural world. This kind of prayer goes beyond the formal rituals. It is about living with gratitude, reverence, and a deep sense of interconnectedness with all life. It is a reminder of the sacredness in our relationships with nature, our community, and the spiritual realm, urging us to live in a way that honors these profound connections. How does your own tradition or belief system view prayer? Do you see it as a request, a conversation, or something else entirely? But let us pivot our focus a bit. This conversation isn't so much about questioning the validity of prayer itself, but rather about exploring our role in it. Think about it. When we address the divine saying, "Dear God," or using any chosen name, do we believe that this is the only time we are heard? Does the divine, however we envision it, only listen then and remain oblivious to our actions and words that contradict our prayers? It is an intriguing thought, isn't it? Is the divine a constant presence in our lives, an impartial observer watching over us, or more like a responsive parent-like figure? And here's something to ponder. If we acknowledge that God or the divine is all-knowing, doesn't it stand to reason that our daily actions, our very way of living, might be just as important as our words in prayer? It raises the question about the holistic nature of our spiritual practices. Are our actions in daily life a silent form of prayer themselves, equally heard and observed by the divine? Now let us consider the role of obedience and upright living in the context of answered prayer. If we often speak of God in parental terms, isn't it reasonable to draw parallels with how a parent responds to their child? Just like a parent's reaction might be influenced by a child's behavior, could it be that our actions have an impact on how our prayers are answered? It is a question worth pondering, isn't it? Think about the concept of inheritance in a family. Children and even adults can be disinherited for various reasons. Typically, parents do not just hand over their legacy unless they feel the recipient is deserving, respectful, and responsible. If someone continually acts in ways that go against the family's values or belief, they might find themselves left out. This analogy leads us to wonder, could it be similar in our spiritual lives? Does stepping outside the accepted moral or spiritual guidelines influence how our spiritual requests are received? It is an intriguing thought and invites us to reflect on the alignment between our daily conduct and our spiritual expectations. Reflect on a time when your actions aligned with your spiritual beliefs. How did that impact your sense of spiritual fulfillment? Consider the intricate relationship between divine justice, love, and our behavior. Is merely being born into a particular family or bloodline enough to warrant divine favor? Or is there more to it? Does it boil down to grace, akin to parental favor? Or is there an expectation of adhering to certain moral or spiritual principles? These questions become even more compelling when we look at different spiritual beliefs. In some traditions, moral living is seen as essential to having prayers answered, while in others, the concept of divine grace is unconditional, not tied to our actions. This brings us to an intriguing point of contemplation. Are we, in our spiritual journeys, constantly oscillating between the ideas of divine retribution and grace? Take, for instance, the Christian notion of grace as an unearned gift, a stark contrast to the karmic laws of cause and effect prevalent in many Eastern philosophies. These concepts may seem completely opposed, but perhaps there's a common thread. Regardless of our personal beliefs, the idea that obedience and adherence to a set of moral or spiritual principles play a significant role in our spiritual practices, including prayer. This is worth considering. Such practices may not directly sway divine response, yet they are undeniably vital for our personal spiritual growth and for maintaining alignment with our deepest convictions. Prayer in its essence goes far beyond mere requests directed at a higher power. It often mirrors the deepest parts of ourselves, summarizing our most profound intentions and desires. Across various cultures and religions, prayer serves as a mirror to our souls, revealing our truest hopes and fears. It becomes a deeply personal journey, a bridge connecting us to something much larger than ourselves, whether that be the universe, nature, or a divine presence. This reflective aspect of prayer sheds light on our character and what we hold dear, turning it into an invaluable tool for self awareness and forging a spiritual connection. It underscores the significance of personal responsibility in our spiritual endeavors. Through prayer, we not only reach out to something greater, but also delve inward, exploring and understanding our inner landscape. It is this dual journey, both inward and outward, that highlights prayer as a powerful medium for personal and spiritual growth. The interplay between belief and action is fundamental. Take, for instance, my grandson Sphinx's aspiration to become a world-renowned Muay Thai boxer. At just 8 years old, he already grasps a vital truth that achieving such a goal requires more than just wishing, daydreaming, or visualizing. It demands dedicated effort and focus. He understands that his body, mind, and every aspect of his life must align with his ambition. This is a profound lesson, not just in sports, but in spirituality as well. It is a reminder that prayers or any spiritual intentions can lose their essence if they are not paired with corresponding actions. This principle highlights a deeper truth. Our genuine beliefs and intentions are most fruitfully mirrored in our daily actions, not just in our words. The harmony between what we proclaim in our moments of prayer and how we conduct ourselves in everyday life speaks volumes about the authenticity and depth of our spiritual and ethical convictions. After all, praying for peace and prosperity carries little weight if our daily choices stand in stark contrast to these aspirations. It is the correspondence of our actions and prayers that the true measure of our commitment is found. Every choice we make, no matter how seemingly insignificant, gently steers the course of our lives. It is in the realm of these choices that mindfulness and conscious decision-making emerge as not just practical strategies, but as profound spiritual practices. Each decision we face is a chance to reflect our deepest values and aspirations. Imagine viewing our everyday life as a form of continuous living prayer, where each action, each choice resonates in harmony with our spiritual goals and ethical beliefs. In this light, our daily lives become a lively conversation with our higher selves, a consistent practice of aligning our mundane choices with our spiritual ideals. This perspective transforms the way we approach our day-to-day decisions. They are no longer just routine choices, but meaningful steps on our spiritual journey. It is an empowering way to live, knowing that with every decision, we are actively crafting a life that resonates with our deepest convictions and aspirations. There is an interesting debate about the right way to approach prayer. Some advocate for a more assertive stance, suggesting that we should be commanding the universe, demanding what we desire. On the other end of the spectrum, others believe in the power of humility, suggesting that lowering ourselves, so to speak, increases our chances of winning divine favor. Then, there are those who view God as a loving parent to whom we can simply and politely make our requests. The concept of commanding universal energies often leads to a thought-provoking question. Can we truly command a greater power? Something that is beyond our control. To command implies a position of superiority, which seems to contrast with the humility and respect typically associated with spiritual practices. In my view, the essence of spirituality lies in seeking alignment with higher powers, not in commanding them. It is about engaging with these energies from a place of reverence and understanding. True spiritual strength, then, may not be in commanding lesser energies, but in aligning ourselves with the greater universal laws and principles. This alignment, I believe, brings about the cooperation of various spiritual forces in a way that supports our journey, rather than commanding them as one would a subordinate. What are your thoughts on the idea of commanding versus aligning with the universe? How do you personally approach this in your spiritual practice? Another vital aspect to consider on our spiritual journey is the company we keep, the fellowship we engage in. Just as my grandson Sphinx finds encouragement and guidance in his pursuit of Muay Thai from those who share his passion, so too do we need a community that resonates with our spiritual aspirations. The people we surround ourselves with can profoundly influence our path, offering support, wisdom, and motivation. They serve as mirrors reflecting back to us our beliefs and intentions, and helping us stay true to our course. This fellowship, this communal aspect of spirituality, is not just about seeking like-minded individuals. It is about nurturing an environment where our spiritual life can flourish, where we can grow together, learn from each other, and offer support. It reminds us that while our spiritual journey is deeply personal, it doesn't have to be solitary. The right company can uplift us, keep us grounded, and propel us further along our path of self-discovery and divine connection. In contemplating the significance of fellowship in our spiritual and personal journeys, the role of family often emerges as a cornerstone of support. For example, the encouragement and guidance my grandson Sphinx receives from his father Shai in his pursuit of Muay Thai is a shining illustration of this. Shai's involvement in Sphinx's training and development exemplifies the profound impact that family can have in nurturing our aspirations. It shows how a supportive family member can provide the necessary encouragement and foundation for achieving our goals. This kind of familial support is a powerful reminder that while our journey is our own, it is often uplifted and enriched by the contributions of those closest to us. Their support can be a driving force, helping us to realize our dreams and stay true to our path. It's important to recognize, however, that family extends beyond just blood relations. For many of us, family includes those individuals who may not be related by blood, but are nonetheless integral to our lives. These chosen family members, be they friends, mentors, or spiritual companions, often provide the same, if not deeper, level of support, understanding, and guidance. Their presence in our lives is a testament to the fact that family bonds are not always defined by genetics, but by the strength of the connections we forge and the mutual support we provide for each other. Recognizing this broader definition of family allows us to appreciate the diverse forms of kinship that enrich our spiritual and personal paths. This range of beliefs, from a certain control over the universe through manifestation techniques to embracing a stance of humility in prayer, provides a fertile ground for exploration. Different traditions and belief systems offer varying perspectives of this. Take the law of attraction, for example, which highlights the potency of intention and thought, in contrast to spiritual paths that emphasize humility, gratitude, and surrender to a higher power. Understanding these varied approaches can shed light on the diverse ways we humans connect with the universe and our spirituality. Of course, humorously speaking, I am not a deity in the context of this discussion, but I do know the assertive demand and command. That method doesn't quite resonate with me. A more gentle approach always feels more appropriate, doesn't it? But jokes aside, this brings us to a deeper question. What is our role and responsibility when it comes to what we receive from the universe? Is it enough to simply exist and claim entitlement because my Father is the Creator? This question invites us to consider not just what we ask for, but also how we live, how we align with universal laws, and what we contribute in return. For many, the true essence of spirituality lies in living a life that is in harmony with their deeply held values and beliefs. This form of devotion goes beyond mere ritual. It is about enhancing the sincerity and effectiveness of one's spiritual life through personal sacrifice, discipline, and a steadfast commitment to a path that rises above mere immediate gratification or self-interest. It is a journey that often demands a lot, but the rewards, in terms of inner peace and clarity, can be immense. Delving into the varied ways different cultures and spiritual traditions engage in prayer is an eye-opening experience. Such an exploration not only showcases the rich diversity of spiritual practices across the globe, but also reveals the underlying threads that weave together these contrasting beliefs. The spectrum is vast and vibrant, from the rhythmic, ritualistic chants found in certain religions to the profound silence of meditative practices in others. Each of these practices forms a part of the intricate tapestry that is human spiritual expression. These varied approaches provide us with unique perspectives on the intricate and multi-layered nature of spirituality and prayer. They encourage us to not only acknowledge and appreciate the numerous practices and beliefs around the world, but also to understand their personal and communal significance. In doing so, we gain a deeper appreciation for the countless ways in which individuals and communities express and experience their spirituality. As we draw close to the end of today's session, let us reflect on the journey we have embarked on. Today, we have delved into the multifaceted world of prayer and action. As we continue to explore this rich landscape in our future sessions, we will uncover more layers and insights into our spiritual practice. Each step in this journey brings us closer to understanding the intricate dance between our intentions, beliefs, and actions. As we wrap up today's Wisdom Wednesday journey through echoes of intention, the dance of prayer and action, we stand at a crossroads of belief, action, and spiritual reflection. We have traversed various spiritual landscapes, each offering a unique perspective on the dance between our prayers and our actions. I invite you to share your thoughts and experiences in the comments. How do these insights resonate with your own spiritual journey? What reflections or new understandings have emerged for you today? Your perspectives enrich our collective exploration, and I look forward to reading and responding to your insights. Remember, the dance of prayer and action is an ongoing one, and each step we take is a part of our unique spiritual expression. May the insights and perspectives shared here serve as a guide for continuous self-reflection and growth, inspiring us to align our daily actions with our highest spiritual aspirations.